fight. Be a Philadelphian, not a Laodicean. Be a good guy. If people could choose between being automatons, void of free will, or human beings, often I believe they would prefer to be unthinking automatons. A lot of people act like that, like brute beasts. That they think their lives would be easier if everything was decided for them, they just took instructions from somebody else. It's not the way it works. Free will is one of the imperative qualities, characteristics of being godlike, being made in the image and likeness of God. Free will, choice. We got to choose to do what's right. It sounds innocuous enough and innocent enough to say we are born with a cost of living. How innocuous, how innocent does it sound to say we are born enslaved by the supreme money masters and must pay in perpetuity for the right they give us to continue existing? That doesn't sound so innocent anymore, does it? But isn't that the way it is? It's all about money in this world, isn't it, folks? Even King Solomon, thousands and thousands of years ago, said that. Money is the answer for everything. He wasn't condoning it. He was stating a fact, stating a truth. Since, quote, they, that is the enemies of humanity, want us humans hopelessly divided, let's do the opposite and become inextricably united. An epidemic of stupidity, ignorance, and confusion. That to me is the rule of the day. Welcome to planet Earth, a place where mere mortals enslave other mere mortals with a perpetual price tag on their right to exist. And it's been going on for millennia. God wishes to be a far better friend to us than we are to ourselves. And He is. Since not even the rich are financially free, as they too must pay a cost of living, nobody is actually truly, absolutely free. Just like I pointed out earlier. You know, we got to understand something about this whole business about salvation. Understand this, that no matter how hard the evil powers in this world work, at the end of the day, it is written that even the demons believe in God and tremble because they know they too were created. And they used their power of free will and choice to rebel against God's will, rebel against good and truth and right and light and life. They rebelled against it. And that's where we are today, folks. So until Jesus returns, man, our only hope is that He's going to have His hand in there and He's going to be fighting with human beings, mere mortals, to get the job done. We're the first, we're the feet on the ground, the first line of defense against the evil. It's not the holy angels even, okay, but He uses them, and He's been using them all through history. And they're still around today. This is what a lot of this UFO business is that people are actually seeing holy angels. And the fallen angels, they're referred to as angels because they have the common denominator is they have the ability to fly. So not all UFO sightings are holy angels. Some of them are advanced technology by the military at this point in history. But if you go back thousands of years, there's been sightings, UFOs. I mean, look what Ezekiel saw. Okay, look what was seen by the three wise men, right? They were following stars. Since when do stars travel through the sky? And a lot of these lights are reported to be like that. They're just lights in the sky. It's just technology is way advanced. It's like they have their own atmosphere. And they're not affected by G-forces, so they can go unlimited miles per hour. But it's all real, folks, and we're a part of this cosmic tapestry, and it's forever, and we need to get comfortable with it. Since a lack of consistent self-control, which leads to self-hatred, like King Solomon talked about, is nearly ubiquitous among humans, it is extremely remote among all other creatures. This lack of self-control. You could say, well, They've done tests on monkeys or rats or something will eat cocaine until they die, but that's not in nature. Heroin isn't in nature. The opium is innocent enough. The coca is innocent enough. Alcohol's adulterated. It's not really. It's manipulated. Marijuana is just a plant. But there's a lot of toxic substances out there that even other creatures would lack self-control and hate themselves. They've destroyed their health. Yeah, and that's what lack of self-control does, as King Solomon pointed out. And it's not a good thing. This is why we need God. We need God to forgive us for this lack of self-control. So, we are, as humans, to be pitied above all the other creatures. We live a very unnatural existence as human beings. It's very unnatural for us to have all these psychological, emotional, mental issues that we have. And lack of self-control is one of the primary examples of that. And the ensuing self-hatred we get when we fall, when we're weak, when we lack that self-control that we all want. We want to be self-controlled, self-disciplined. We want to be strong all the time. And who could say there's that all the time? We're not. So we all experience a self-hatred sometimes. And God allows it. It's written that in our weaknesses, His strength is perfected. That's what it's all about. Isn't it comforting, encouraging, consoling, refreshing, and strengthening to know with a sense of certainty that we are all known, loved, and understood infinitely better than we can ever know, love, or understand ourselves? That's a rhetorical question. But that's a truth about God. This numbering the hairs on our head, this being worth more than many sparrows rhetoric that Jesus gave us, that's the way it is. And it's important. It's critical. I know I need that. That's taking advantage of the grace of God. We've got to do that. And then we pass it along. We show other people that grace. That's how we judge them very, not harshly, whatever the opposite is, lightly, okay? But we warn people. We've got to, for our own salvation. It's like the watchman on the tower, or else the blood of others is on your hands. So we've got to warn each other when we see that people's souls are in danger of they're losing eternal life, being sent to that bad place that we call hell, at the separation of the wicked from the righteous. So we all have an obligation to warn each other, but do it work to be as most effective we can, and tap into God's wisdom to do that, His tact in reaching other people, because it's a very serious matter in turning people from their wicked ways. Since it appears there is no practical, tried and true method of getting off this ride we refer to as human existence, then it seems that the best advice is to somehow get comfortable with it. Yeah, and who can do that? Only God can help us to do that. Above all, the precious things I could glean and offer up to humanity just to be a certain effective blessing is the most precious. Yes, I want to know for certainty that I am a blessing to humanity. And that is the most precious possession I could ever have, the greatest accomplishment I could ever achieve, or anybody else for that matter. That's storing your treasures in heaven. I enjoy the little things like knowing Jesus Himself had read and knew the Old Testament, even quoting it. Also knowing He had half-brothers and sisters indicates there is a swath of humanity whom are direct blood descendants. I like that. I like to know that this is a very tangible historical fact that Jesus walked the earth. He's a real guy. How often I think to and of myself, my God, you're a pathetic, weak, and needy little bastard. Yep. I think to myself that often. In fighting the good fight, quote, of righteousness, of justice, once we realize we're stuck in the very same crap hole referred to as civilization, quote, as, quote, reality, can we just join together as one unstoppable, cosmic, godly force for good and actually make real progress? Be nice, wouldn't it?